Big shout out to the entire team here. Royal Oath is more than just an insurance agent. They're your promise keepers. Whether it's auto, home, business, life, or health insurance, they're here to protect what matters to you most. You can check them out at royaloathinsurance.com or give them a call at 586-238-3535. And of course, today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends at Connection, the CRM built for closers. If you're a real estate agent, entrepreneur, or small business owner looking to automate, follow up, and close more deals and stay top of mind, then Connection is your secret weapon. Go to yourconnection.com and take control of your pipeline today. Now, whether you're tuning in live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, or X, catching the replay on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you stream, we're glad you're here. Do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment, and share this with a friend, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. All right, guys, let's get locked in. We've got a powerhouse show lined up today, and if you're in business or real estate or just building something big, this one is for you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back into the Elite Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Jimmy Nelson, and I am super excited about today and bringing in a guest that we've been trying to get this thing connected for a while. And now we've got it connected, and I'm super excited to be able to bring him in. He's going to bring absolute fire today. I'm gonna brag on him for a minute, but Mr. Luis Mendoza, he's a real estate broker, but not only a broker, right? You're still an active agent. You're still a real estate active agent, but you're a co-founding member and the executive on the Omni MLS, which is an international MLS. Which, I mean, for people that don't know what that entails, I'm gonna let you dive into that. But that's not just like a light lift. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly right. Hey, Jimmy, thank you for having me, man. It's we've been trying to put this together for a while, right?
That's right.
To talking to you and see how everything's going. Definitely, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, my man. I appreciate you jumping in and coming in this morning. And we picked the coldest day to do this too, right? It's even cold in Alabama.
It's the storm's coming, man. We're getting all the waters, milk, and bread that you can think of, and now they're saying it might just be rain, but hopefully it's not that bad.
Well, when I got this will make you feel better. When I got in my car this morning, it was -18. Just throwing that at you.
So I was going to complain about 6 next week, which that's what we're getting our lowest. No, that's those negative numbers. We haven't hit those, so hopefully we'll never hit them over here.
Yeah, and you don't get you're between Latin America, California, and Alabama, so you stay completely out of that cold weather.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it south, right? Keep it south.
That's right.
Out of the northern part.
That's right. So tell me, I know the story, right? But how did you end up where you're at, right? Like you're in 3 distinct different areas and man, like in killing it.
It's crazy, Jimmy. People ask me all the time, it's like, hey, how are you doing this? Well, 25 years. This year's my 25th year in the industry. Crazy. I can't believe it, which is exciting. I started as a, single agent over at Central 21 Award back in San Diego. And in 2 years, I built a team. And then later on, the global perspective started coming in around 2005. Started doing business in Mexico and Southern California. And definitely the opportunity was there. But my concentration was not so much in the bilingual part. It was in the bicultural part. Because you can always be bilingual, but if you're not bicultural, you don't know the culture of the business in those countries or even states or just areas. I'll tell you, when I moved to Alabama, my biggest challenge was used to how business was run here as well. Oh, if I go to Michigan, it's completely different. Contracts are different. Everything's different, right? So, what was it? Bring it down. I had the team for a while. Mexico. I did some foreclosures in Mexico for a condo hotel in Rosarito Beach, Mexico, back in 2011 during the Great Recession. I was hired by a bank. And then I also have a client of mine, which is a good buddy of mine too, that manages international money, global money. And that's how I got started even more with the high-end people, high-end clients regarding on what they can do, what they can do, and what can they invest in. And 2020, COVID came, and I was one of those Californians. Peace out, bye-bye. My wife's from Decatur, Alabama, so definitely she wanted to move back, and I don't blame her. And ended up in June, deep COVID, June of 2020 is when we moved here. So came here and then started a brokerage here. And within a year, about 4 years ago, one of my friends, and he basically does a lot of global stuff, Steve Yeager, and his dad, Phil Yeager. Phil Yeager started Century 21 franchises um, in Mexico in the 1980s. So he was well known in that area. They called me, "Hey, Luis, we got an idea." I'm like, "What is it?" And he goes, "I said, where you at?" I'm in Alabama. And they're all, "What are you doing in Alabama?" Well, I moved over here, but I still have my other businesses. And sure enough, they came up with this, "Hey, we got the MLS idea." I'm all, "The MLS?" I'm all, "Where?" "Mexico." So we started 4 years ago in Mexico. I'm one of the founding executives for it. I'm the in charge of bringing the technology to Latin America, like the DocuSigns, the electronic boxes, CentralLock. We brought them down there, Cubicasa, CRMs, Realtor.com International. We brought it down there as well, and Proper Start. So different products that we brought down there. But the cool part about it, Jimmy, is that we're in 19 countries now. So we're like in Mexico, Latin America, South America, and we're all over Latam. So 19 countries. We got over 75,000 listings, exclusive listings. And, the tough part on that is just getting acclimated to each country's way of doing business. Costa Rica is different to Mexico. Mexico is different to Colombia. Chile is different to Argentina. And we come here with the American sister, right, which is the MLS. And we came and we ended up growing it, and we're still good. Last week we were excited. We launched the app, so now we have an app for all of our members where they can search all 19 countries and they can include their clients on it. So it's been a great run on that part.
And what people don't understand is how hard what you just said is to pull off.
It's not easy.
You said it just like, we're just in 19 countries now. We did this thing, and you made it sound so simple, like, it's no big deal. We just did this thing.
Well, the biggest challenge is the disorganization. A lot of the countries, and this is what I tell American agents and American brokers: we're spoiled. We have a system that 2 years ago, look what happened to it, and it's because we're spoiled. Over there, I mean, there's countries out there that don't have licensing. Mexico's half of the country is licensed. Some of them are state. They're trying to put a federal. There's a lot of pushback. Brazil's the biggest behemoth per se. There's 530,000. We're starting to enter that country, about 580,000, and they have to be licensed there. So that's the most organized. Then you got Costa Rica. Costa Rica has got a lot of American Canadian influence, because there's a lot of Americans that live down there. And what they're trying to do is do business like the US and Canada, right? In Costa Rica. But then, it's kind of like fighting it. But like you said, it's not, I make it sound easy, but it's a lot of headaches. I give it to my wife because she's been patient and everything. Is like, what are we doing here? But it's become, it's moving along. Where basically I concentrate on bringing products down there and improving the systems in America.
Got it. And selling real estate.
Gotta do the bread and butter, man. Gotta do the bread and butter. One coach told me one time, don't ever leave the bread and butter. And I think a lot of people have done that. I think you've seen it, in our careers, that, oh man, I'm going to start this. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, it failed, because it was a startup. And then guess what? You're starting back again. So I'm trying to balance that out and do the bread and butter. So bread and butter right now, I have Mexico, I have Alabama, of course, and then I have California on that part.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. It's the bread and butter. I had somebody ask me not too long ago, like, are you still doing real estate? I said, listen, I'm always going to be doing real estate. Like that's always first. All this other stuff, the podcast and the coaching and all that's all secondary. The real estate's always going to be there.
Exactly. Yeah.
The bread and butter, right?
Mm-hmm. And it was exciting. It's exciting because you got to keep your finger in the pulse, right? We've 100%. Had so many changes as an industry. You and I know it. It's just crazy. whether it's the lawsuit, the AI, the big merger right now that happened because one of my California brand is in Century 21, right?
Yeah.
So now we're Compass. You just got to keep up with it. If not, you're gonna get eaten alive.
Yeah. And you're right, because and the other thing is, if you're gonna mentor and coach and train agents, and you haven't negotiated a deal in a while, well, that's different too. This market shifts, things change. Everybody's still under this assumption of, oh, I just put a sign in the front yard and it sells. Well, it might not.
Sad.
But if you're not in that, if you're not in that testing it every day, it's tough to sell that.
And there's different products right now. For example, I have a commercial place that I'm selling in Alabama. It's 56,000 square foot industrial, right? You know what's in right now? DSCR loans. If you don't know about the DSCR loans, which a lot of people don't, you're not going to understand it. You have to be on top of it, which is a very creative way of moving the properties forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And and again, those partnerships that you get with mortgage people and everybody else, how close you got to stay in those relationships, because those products are changing every day too. Right.
Yep.
And it's hard for us as realtors to keep up with everything, but you got to know enough about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. And it's too much, there's so much coming in, I keep up with everything, trying to keep up with everything, but later on, you're like, what is that? How did I miss that? And a lot of people are talking about it. So you feel like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not into the industry so much.
Right. Now, when you first got started, how did you get started in real estate? Like, where? Because nobody I ever talked to in real estate dreamed of being a realtor. You know what I mean?
Mine, seriously, it was a backup plan. I worked at Nordstrom for 11 years. Then I went into recruiting. I did headhunting in Mexico and US for medical device companies for about a year and a half, 2 years. I was like, oh, no, that's not for me. And then, oh, man, I got my license and I just hadn't used it. And I'm like, okay. And I ended up saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to go move forward. And I ended up doing it. So, and how it started is a hustle, right? You got to hustle. And a lot of people think we just show up, you put a sign, you bring cookies to the open house, and I get a check, right? That's not it. It was just basically how I started my sphere of influence. Grew up in San Diego, graduated from high school, started using that in the beginning. And how I survived, I was a valet. I valeted cars for 8 months. I'll never forget it. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. My goal was saying, I do not want to do this next year. I want to be self-sufficient on real estate and everything. So God gave me the green light, and basically said, he goes, hey, you know what? You can do this.
There we are. We're back.
You can go ahead and what do you call it? Yeah, we're back. We can you can do this and definitely move forward. And that's how I started. And what I did is basically all the time I try to stay in contact with CEOs, managers, brokers that like you, Jimmy. I met you in Orlando, right? Leaders that, hey, let's keep in touch and we push each other and grow. During the good times, of course, right? But during these times right now that we're living, this is where all of us conglomerate, right? Together, And then people people found out about my English, Spanish, and I could do Spanish in business. That's one of the things. And I'll never forget Banorte, which is a fourth largest bank in Mexico. Someone called me and it was a referral and said, hey, you know what? I think you can sell this foreclosures that we have, which was 187 or something like that back then. They were for $98,000 at beachfront. And I'll never forget, it was a different culture. I had to deal with the Mexican business culture and I had to turn it around. And when I say turn it around, it's like, okay, it's all more who you are, where you come from, and that's how you work the deal. And I started understanding that. And that's when I started. A lot of my business internationally is referral. I'm not calling, hey, can I sell it? So right now I have 2 properties in Valle de Guadalupe. And it's a ranch in Valle de Guadalupe. It's a winery in Mexico, which is known as the Napa of Mexico. Very popular, south of San Diego, 2 hours. And I got, it's called Rancho Vista. 8 acres and brand new house, and you can build cabanas around it, the project. And the crazy part is it was a referral. And come to find out, listen to this, you like this, since Alabama ties. I go meet up with the guy, with the client, the owner in San Diego. We go have dinner and someone else, hey, where's Luis flying from? He goes, well, Alabama. And I thought he was going to say Alabama. So come to find out, he's from Alabama. He
Ah,
graduated from Auburn. So it's crazy. It's like, I'm selling this property in Mexico, high end property, luxury, and he lives in Alabama. So it's all referral. Then I have another one from a client from Mexico City, which is the property is $2.8 million, and it's basically Architectural Digest. The property was on it, so he just built it. He makes good money on Airbnb, about $1,200 a night. It's a really, really nice property, and he just wants to liquidate it and move on to the next step. But that was a referral too. Funny part is that was a referral from an agent from Southern California. So it comes down to when before I left San Diego, people would say, "Oh, Mexico," kind of equivalent to Luis Mendoza. Call him up, and because I got that experience, so it's a
yeah,
lot of referral business on that part. And how I started, never gave up. There was one time I remember, and my broker manager, Craig Citron, I gave it to him. He says, "You're not quitting." I was like literally quitting. He goes, "No, you're not. You're gonna do well. I know it." And I stuck with it, and he basically made me, no, give it another month, 2 months, and trust me, you're gonna be fine. So, it's the people that believe in you, right?
that's it. That's it. And there's you got to find that person because we've all probably been there. We've all probably hit that wall and said, you know what, I could just go back and get a 9 to 5. I may not make as much, but I'm going to do it. But because it's there, it's consistent. But that's without, there's this fall before the rise, typically in business, and you'll find it even as you're growing, right? Even with your MLS, there was probably a drop off of like, is this going to work? Before it hockey sticks and has its moment of this will work, you know, and it's that stick to itiveness of staying with it, keep doing the right things and doing the right things, and as you're doing the right things, it's eventually going to get there.
And it just, you just got to keep going. I like to say it's a numbers game, right? Numbers game. You got to get up in the morning. My agents that work with me, I tell them in the morning. I mean, every day, every meeting. Remember, you wake up unemployed. You do not have a
Mm,
paycheck. You do not, what do you call it, have any money coming in. So when you wake up in the morning, it's time for you to go find somebody that you can sell a house to, whether it's having a meeting, lunches, whatever it is. But that's your goal. If you don't have that mindset, you're really not going to, move forward. Of course, there's other mindsets, but that's the one that I tell my agents also all the while. We're unemployed every day. I wake up in the morning, I put my feet down, I'm unemployed. Well, I have all this pipeline, but I'm still unemployed because the pipeline hasn't closed,
right,
right?
right, right. Yeah. Now, and that's the funny thing, right? You say a pipeline because that's our gold, right? That's if you just keep adding one person a day into that pipeline, they may not buy anything for the next 6 months, 12 months, year, 2 years. But they're there, right? And then it's just staying in front of them, keeping up with them and doing all those kind of things. And when you first started, right, you were valeting, you were parking cars, then hustling on the day, doing their things. How did you build your business? What was open houses? Like, did you prospect for business? Was it Bizbos? Like, how'd you get it?
Well, it's funny. This is 2001, right? So it's like this is before the cell phones, before all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I started cold calling. That was one. Then also at the same time, I started doing a lot of open houses. I would do 4 a weekend, one from 11 to 1, another one from 2 to 4 on Saturdays, and then Sundays do the same thing. It's just tracking. I was single at the time. I had nothing better to do. I have to like literally just focus on growing this and making it happen. And then also my sphere of influence. My sphere of influence was key. Made a database, send out back then newsletters, sent out different what do you call it, marketing pieces that would help out, and just letting people know so that who I was. The other thing too, I had a goal in 2 years. I moved downtown San Diego. This is after my second, third year. Downtown San Diego was booming. You've been to it. I'm pretty sure it's like
Yeah.
all my rices weren't there, and I moved to Little Italy. And I remember when I moved to Little Italy,
and I bought a condo there and everything else. But I was starting over because downtown was very cliquish, and I said I got to network, and I was networking from Wednesday all the way till Saturday, basically. And my goal was saying Luis Mendoza equals real estate.
Mm.
2 years. That was my goal. Luis Mendoza equals real estate. Well, it's crazy. In about 8 months, I remember being in a networking event. I was like grinding so much, and I heard somebody say, "Hey, who does Luis work for?" "Oh, he does real estate." I'm like, boom, it's there.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. Because it's not so much about selling and putting the martini in a $9 million listing, and oh my gosh, and you don't have a buyer to sell it to. I hate to say it, but it's about relationships, and people want solutions. That helped out a lot during the market crash because people felt that they could trust me on a situation that they were losing their houses, that they were what do you call it? They're in a bad situation. They're about to get divorced because they're about to lose everything, mismanaged in 2007, 2008. During that time, another thing that I've done, Jimmy, is everyone goes right, I go left.
Mm.
During '08 or '09, what was people going for? Foreclosure accounts, right?
Yeah.
Foreclosure accounts, and let's go to the yacht and buying the foreclosure people and everything like that. I didn't play that game. What I did is let's do it before the foreclosures. So I started a short sale company.
Mm.
So
So
during
you
that
cut them off with the pass.
yeah, exactly. I didn't have to pay those people whatever was happening. I said short sale. So what I was trying to do is save people's credits, coach them about how to do a short sale correctly, right? Because there's a way that
Hmm.
and this doing lending. 90 days is the big hit, right? On your
Yep.
foreclosure, on your mortgage payment. So if we can avoid that and start negotiating with the bank, we can do something. So we did about, gosh, I think about 140 transactions. But what I did is, I always say my clients, and even in my Mexico business and other businesses, is my clients are the agents as well. Because back then, a lot of agents didn't want to do short sales. It was too hard work, too much. It was too much. So I hired two people. All they did was just calling the banks, negotiate, 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 and I would do the foreclosures for other brokers and other agents, for a certain what do you call it, a fee, and that's how we kept going.
Yeah, it's so the interesting part, and a lot of agents that I have on that have been doing this business for a long time, your business diversified,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, yeah, residential real estate is a thing, right? That's your open houses for a weekend. And I love that plan. Actually, I wrote that down because that 11 to 1, 2 to 4 every Saturday, Sunday, and that's a great plan because again, we're trying to pick up buyers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And now, so those weren't all your listings. Were those like your team listings, or did you reach out to other people that host open houses? Or
I reached out to other people to host open houses. I saw which markets were. I was studying the market. I like studying the markets, what's going on, and people know me. I'm a very data driven, and that's probably why Omni MLS is down my path.
right?
There's a lot of data. It's like, okay, what's going on? It's like, oh, this area's moving quicker. They're going to build this. Not go to those places. Call an agent from back then, Coldwell Banker or somewhere else, not even Century 21, other brands, and say, hey, by the way, you know what? When doing open houses, agents didn't want to do it. Feel free. That's good. And that's what helped out a lot. It just, but one of the things is just getting buyers too, but then getting the buyer to know what they're thinking.
Mm,
I think that's what we're missing nowadays. We're so tied up to this, right?
yeah.
And we think we know everything, but we really don't. We don't know what the agents what the consumer's thinking. And last year wasn't the easiest year, right? We had to pivot. We had to go back. I started doing open houses again, and it was great because as much as I'm like, oh man, I got to do open houses. That's how I started. But I'm like going, wait. I started hearing what the consumer's concern was. The interesting part was interest rates, right? And it's so funny about interest rates. It's like you go 6.125, right? And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, 5.99, $120 difference. But the people wouldn't know that. The consumer would know what it was.
Right.
with that payment difference. So it's connecting. We got to reconnect, so that helped out a lot.
Yeah. No, you're spot on with that, because the other thing that I've been coaching and training agents on a lot too is we don't nowadays, now our clients are so they're going to Chat GPT, right? Or they're not even Googling stuff anymore. They're going directly to, and they think that's the right source, right? They think that that actually works. So that part is I always said, you have to know what the Zestimate is. If you're going on a listing appointment, you got to know what the Zestimate is.
Yeah.
Because your client's going to know. As soon as you walk in the door, the first thing they're going to say is, well, my house is worth this. They think they already know. So but now it's getting worse, because now they're using AI, and they think that's the right question, right? They think that's the right thing that they can just Google this, or they can go in a chat and put in, like, how do I sell my house? And it's going to give you a whole plan on how to do it.
Yeah. And they think they could be done,
Yeah.
It's funny, Zillow's got the app integrated into it now. So what is the consumer thinking? Oh, well, Zillow's right then. Oh, they're part of ChatGPT. Well, Zillow's right. What's our biggest mistake as an industry? We let Zillow take over.
Mm-hmm.
Because every consumer you talk to is like, what real estate platform do you go to? Oh, Zillow. Zillow knows. No, Zillow doesn't know. We know. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's our industry mistake in that part.
Yeah. Yeah. Ask them how their iBuyer program worked out.
Exactly right. It's crazy. It's crazy. Talk about controlling a market and buying like 10 properties, and you buy the other one, you got a new comp, and then the market starts shifting. That was it.
Yeah.
They bombed it.
They lost literally a whole section of their business they had to get rid of.
Well, it's funny, because we, as Omni MLS, we talked to Zillow, see if they wanted to come over to Mexico. You would think, and everyone thinks, well, why isn't Zillow down there? The reason what it was that they told us is that they didn't want to deal with another language. They were afraid of going into a Spanish speaking part. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy, because again, technology.
Millions of dollars. I said, go get some developer from Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, and everything. You can do it, but we got to concentrate. And they were concentrating the iBuyer at the time, the mortgage company, and doing all this stuff. Yeah. So, they were just, they weren't open to it.
Well, maybe it was a smart move for them. Maybe it was a better move for you, actually.
You said that right. Yeah.
It's so funny. But yeah, again, clients nowadays are more knowledgeable than they ever have been. Or, well, at least they think they are, right? They think they're more knowledgeable than they are, because there is so much information out there about selling your house on your own, right? And it's funny, the story I always tell is, like, the guy that owned for salebyowner.com used a realtor to sell his own house.
Yeah, that's I didn't know that one, but that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. He tried selling it on his own. There was a story, I think it was in a California paper, that he tried to sell it on his own. It didn't sell, so he put it with a realtor and sold it.
That's classic. And you know what? One of the key words that you said, Jamie, is diversification.
Yeah.
You got to diversify your business. If one of them is up, the other one's down. You got to balance it. So a lot of agents just concentrate on one certain market. Like here in Alabama, northern Alabama. It's so funny. It's like there's Huntsville and Decatur, and some agents will say, well, I don't go to Decatur. It's only 20 minutes away.
Right.
People go, I don't go to Huntsville. It's only 20 minutes away. Well, I'll go for the green.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. My first deal in Alabama, when I first started, because I had to start. No one knew Luis Mendoza. I was San Diego. I came from people knowing in the industry. I had a good sphere of influence. And that was the toughest part. You know where it was? Dothan, Alabama.
And Dothan, there's nothing in Dothan.
And that's a 5-6 hour drive?
Yeah.
My first. And the client came from a referral from San Diego. Their parents had just passed away and everything. And then I took care of it, and I drove down to Dothan. And, well, can you do Alabama? Yeah, I'm a broker. I can do a lot. And I drove. So you got to start over, right? You can't make any excuses or anything like that on that part. So and it's just like basically diversifying. So some of the business, as you were asking, I do commercial. commercial managing as well, managing properties.
Okay.
I also do residential, of course. Right now, where the market is at, I'm sure Michigan as well, is new developments. Concentrate on relationships with new developments, with the DR Hortons of the world, Lennars of the world. They're giving the house away. They got to get rid of that inventory. So basically, that's some of it. And in Southern California, right now, I have a property in Venice Beach, for example. That's one of my best clients I've had. He's done $18 million lifetime with me. And he really trusts me. And I got the Mexico stuff. And right now, Smith Lake. I'm excited. We just took the Smith Lake listing, a whole development. It's about 30 units starting from townhouses starting at 850, and then houses start at 1 million and above to 4 million. And it's new development that's already spec houses ready, and you can build them. But it's awesome because I always look for, okay, what's different. And the biggest thing that clients look for right now, especially during the down market, is solutions. It's not sales. What's the solution? What's your problem? You got to go down to it, Jimmy. What's your problem? Oh, well, Luis, with this developer, he was doing one house at a time. And I told him, oh, dude, you keep doing this, you're going to finish in 2035.
Right.
Like, let's do it in 2-3 years. Well, what's your solution? Well, let's get you some funding. And I ended up finding funding for him so he can fast track the project. The past agent had it for 2 years and only sold 3 properties because it was one at a time.
Right.
Right.
The amazing thing is, dude, we're going to hit on a couple of things you brought up there. And what people don't realize about Alabama, especially Huntsville, where you're at, is it's booming right now.
Booming.
Because you've got, NASA, and you've got all FBI, and you got all those now moving there.
You got DOD. So all the defensive DOD companies were in San Diego, where I was at. So you got the Lockheed Martins of the world. You got all those companies are here. This is kind of like their R&D type of deal.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of people moving here from different areas. Now you have what do you call it? The Space Command Center.
Yep.
It's going to be here. And then we just announced here by where I live in Madison area, Lilly, the pharmaceutical company, just put in. They're going to do an $8 billion project to build one of the pharmaceuticals. So now what I'm seeing is what I saw in San Diego, like a long time ago, is diversifying, because now we're not just DOD. Now we have Toyota Mazda. We have what do you call it, Lilly. We also have all this Space Command Center, Redstone Arsenal. So there's a lot of stuff going over here. Like you said, it's booming. How I described this area when I moved here, and I said, if you're from Southern California, Birmingham, San Diego, Nashville's LA, we're the New Orange County. We're in the middle. What happened in Orange County in 1990s? Boomed.
Yeah.
Went in the middle.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. And again, if you guys haven't been to Alabama, you need to go visit. But
hey, we got a Buc-ee's.
You've got a few Buc-ee's.
Yeah. Not too far away from my house.
Oh man. And what's Buc-ee's doing to the real estate down there? Oh, I lost him. He'll be back in a second. But yeah, if you guys haven't been to Buc-ee's, yeah, what is Buc-ee's doing to real estate down there?
Well, geez, Buc-ee's says, I mean, it's grown. It's crazy. So the Athens area, right off the 65 freeway, right there, they're building. Now there's talks about maybe putting some shopping, like factory stores, trying to grow that area. So I see a lot of growth on that part. So Huntsville has grown, right? And everything, the farmland has been bought. So all those subdivisions are opening up, but like every city that's grown, like Austin, Texas, Nashville, Asheville, the infrastructure is not there, and they weren't ready for it. So, but it's nice. It's a great way to grow on that part,
Yeah, yeah, and all that growth, and then how so I know you got a team in California. You've got in Alabama. So, did you have how many people do you have in each spot.
So I downsized a lot, the reason
Yeah.
why, because there was a lot of agents that were going, oh, I go, it's not for you. I look at that statistic that they came out, was it last week? 935,000 agents out of the 1.3 have 935,000 didn't close one deal.
Yeah.
I go, let me do you a favor. You're not going to make it, unless you
Right.
change your way. I'm giving you all the tools. I'm giving you everything. So I downsized. In San Diego, I got 2 people. In Mexico, I got 2. And then in Alabama, I have 3 people. So, but what helps me out is having a right hand, having someone that really knows how I work, has been working with me for a while, and they know how to answer for me, right? So basically, yeah, Luis is not going to go for this, Luis is not going to go for that, or just negotiate for me on my behalf. And having that's very important. When people ask me how you doing it, multiple states and countries, that's how I do it. And then I travel to San Diego. I go to San Diego. I try to go 1 week a month and just go there and grind, meet people, and see what's going on. Right now, a lot of my business too is coming from California. I'm doing a lot of 1031 exchanges because basically, California, I'm sorry, it's a mess. It's like, it's really, and people go, oh, you're a California hater. Yeah, I love California. I just don't like what's going on right now, with
Right.
California. The reason why I made the decision, of course, to move to Alabama is my wife. I promised her we were going to move back to Alabama. I told her 5 years, it took us 11, but we
you
did
got it done. Yeah.
got it done. But the second one is, I remember my dad moved me here in my early teenagers, about 13, 12 years old. When he moved me here, he told me, he goes, son, Mexico is, the economy is going to go down and the school systems are going to go down. And back then, the school systems in Mexico went to morning and night shifts, so they were going to have 2 shifts. And he goes, it's going to go down. So then all of a sudden, what happened in 2020? I'll never forget. Trump would speak, and then our governor Newsom, would speak. And Newsom said, I remember the day, June 16th. And he goes, okay, guys, in order to beat the COVID and all stuff, we're going to split up the schools. We're going to do morning shifts and night shifts for schools. And that was his proposal. Literally, I went, grabbed a beer, chugged it, told my wife, sit down, your dream came true. She said, what? I go, we're out of here. And that was, I had to act like my dad, right? Because, looking at it. So it's definitely, you have to pivot, right? Yeah. A lot of times you have to pivot. So, and I had to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it's quite a task what you're doing, right? I mean, because you're in 3 distinctly different markets.
One of them has no licensing, the Wild Wild West. The other one, California takes it to another level, because California, in order to put, I just got an offer for one of the properties in California, and I was looking at it last night. I'm all, oh my gosh, this is crazy. 19 pages to put an offer. 19 pages for the purchase contract. In order for us to get paid in California, we got to have about almost 109 parts of contracts. It's so red tape. It's crazy. Then I come to Alabama, buyer beware state. No disclosure. And then the first deal that I closed, I'll never forget. It's like, I got a 5-page offer. I had to call an attorney. I'm, hey man, can I meet with you? He's always like, why? So, dude, this looks too light. Look at this, what California does. And he goes, what's wrong with it? And I'm like, is this how you guys do it? He goes, yeah, I'm all. And that's, here's the interesting part, the cultural differences.
Yeah.
During 2020 to 2024, you saw a lot of agents trying to do different states. A lot of them didn't make it is because they couldn't leave the way they did business at the other place. And that's what people ask me. People call me, especially after I left 2020. Everyone thought I was crazy. Luis, you're crazy. You're moving to Alabama. Oh my gosh. It's like, I know it's COVID. And then sure enough, like within a month, people start calling, within 6 months, people start calling me, hey, Luis, how's it going? Oh, how's it going? What are you thinking? I'm thinking about Florida. I'm thinking about Nashville. picking my brain on how I was doing it and how I was running them all. And it's not easy because traveling back and forth, man, it kicks your butt.
Yeah.
We're not young anymore. It's like taking the red eyes to see my kids play baseball, football, and trying to do all of it. But it's hard. But that's the way the cookie crumbles now.
Yeah. No, man, it's a fantastic story because again, it's about that pivot, that shift. How do I make this happen? And then just getting it done, right? But we're that Gen X. We put our Nikes on and just do it. We figure it out one way or another.
Yeah. Oh, and then that's what it is. Is basically, hey, what's the problem? We got the solution. That's how we think, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Some
yeah, and we'll
people,
figure it out.
some people go, "What's the problem?" Oh my gosh, I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with this problem, right?
Yeah, yeah. And that's the other thing. So that, and you saw a problem. You and I talked about this a couple times, different times, but you saw a problem with the MLS, and that's where the Omni MLS came from, right? In Latin America. So when you saw that problem, then you tried to figure out a solve for it, and then you found the right people to surround yourself with to go figure that problem out.
Yeah, and that's what like it's really, and it was you know what, that's probably one of the biggest compliments I've had in my career, because I had this guy that's literally, he started the system in Latin America, Phil Yeager, and his son Steve Yeager. They called me, and Ross, the funny part is I knew Ross, which is the CEO of Omni MLS. I knew him from a while ago. And what happened is interesting that, it's like they call me up thinking, hey, Luis, I think you can do this because you've been doing this bilingual, bicultural. And oftentimes, I'll be honest with you, what am I doing? It's like, is this going to pay off?
Yeah,
Because working in Mexico, it's not the easiest, and especially if you come from outside, people are like going, and you know what? But it's the same thing that I had issues when I came to Alabama. When I came to Alabama, they go, who the heck is this guy? You know,
right,
he's
right.
like, white collar Mexican from Florida, from California, and he says he started the MLS, and now so there's a lot of stuff that you have to push through, but it definitely, those compliments are awesome, when it comes, because that's what it pays off. Does it pay off when you sell a house? Yes, it does. You help your client, but I've had clients, Jimmy, I've sold them 5 houses. And then that's how I feel older, 20. I remember one client who was a Marine, bought his first condo during 2000. Gosh, it was the crash of the market, or no, actually, no, it was 2003. Then he got engaged, house. Then he got pregnant, house. Then they got a third kid, house. And then when one moved to the school district, house. And after that, I told him, all right, see you guys in 7 years.
Yeah,
You want to work with us? You ain't moving unless you get transferred, because your kids are not going to let you move. Reality of it. That's the reality of it. So
yeah, yeah. No, and then because you do get locked in, right? That's where it's kind of like where we're like, and my boys are 7 years apart, so I was locked in for 14 years because they're gonna do the same things.
and I'm like that. My son is 15. He plays baseball and football here in Madison at James Clemens High School. Then I got my daughter 13 and my son 10. I'm not going anywhere. They're all, where you moving? Nowhere. I'm staying in Madison. That's my life path.
Right.
And that's why I like this whole thing with Smith Lake, Serenity Point as a development, and we're excited because this is the area, this is the region, and still work my sphere of influence in Southern California that people trust me, it's and basically, hey, Luis, it's time to downsize. And my parents, something happened, and that's a lot of the business too. People that you graduate from high school, people are calling me and basically, hey, Luis, this is what's going to happen. This is how much I'm going to inherit. What should I do? Do I do commercial? Do I do, what's the best thing? Do I do 1031? Stuff like that. That's knowledge that you have to know.
Yeah, and you and I are at that age too. Like 2024, I probably sold 7 or 8 homes of friends that's parents passed away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
2025, same thing. You know what I mean? So it's just that you get in that, we're in that age. That's the age bracket. My parents are in their 80s. Like, thank God I still have both of them. But it's just like, but that's it's life. It's the circle of life. That's where we're at.
But that's the branding that we talk about, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have to call them, hey, what's going on? It's like they called you. Why? Jimmy's the man. We trust him. This is what we're gonna do. It's our it's our our parents' house and everything, and that's where it is. It's not so much that someone cold called them, or you see this agents doing a lot of the state planning and all stuff. I get it. That's a way to do it. But if you have a good relationship with those people, it's all relationship. Just keep in touch.
Yeah.
Let them
Yeah.
know. That's why social media is so. People ask me, "What do you have in social media?" Because that's the way to keep in track with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the way, if you're not, I've had same thing. People are like, man, you're on social media a lot. Well, I am, but I also have systems and stuff that kind of handle all that for me. Like I'm not actually doing that.
Yeah.
I'll take a couple hours one day, set it all up, and it kind of just runs itself, right?
Yeah.
But that's the knowledge of knowing systems and whatever else. But look, if I could just get off social media, whatever, it wouldn't affect me, right? But as for my business, I need to be out there.
Yeah. And like I said, Jimmy Nelson equals what? Real estate. And that's what I tell my agents all the time. Luis Mendoza equals real estate. Your name equals real estate. Barbecue talk, right? Hey, I'm thinking about selling my house. Oh, man, I know somebody. Luis Mendoza, Jimmy Nelson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what we have to not bombard people, but let them know we're still here. And then my biggest thing right now for 25 years, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Going up, down, up, down. Last 2 years, the reality, I saw the market shifting since October 2023. I saw some things that were happening in 06, 07. I go, this is mirroring. Oh my gosh, here we go. It's like I keep track of how many people are upside down, how many people are taking HELOCs and stuff like that. So it's like basically, here we go. We had so much capital. There's a lot of capital out there, but people, A, don't know how to use it. B, they're afraid of making a move, right? And then the problem is they're utilizing it incorrectly as an ATM instead of reinvesting.
Yeah. Yeah. You said something really interesting there that caught me. You said it's barbecue talk.
Yeah.
You've been in Alabama for a while, my friend. That used to be water cooler talk. Now it's barbecue talk.
Barbecue talk, man. Well, okay, California, carne asada talk. And Mexico.
You went straight to the barbecue talk. You've been in Alabama for long enough.
Well, the funny part is my kids talk to me and now they got the slang. And I'm like, what? Like when I first met my wife, she would say stuff. I'm like, what did you say, honey? What did you say? She said, Luis. And I'm like going out, bless his heart, and stuff like that,
And the way you say bless his heart, it could be good or bad. There's
I didn't know what it meant until later. And then my mother, bless your heart, was that good or was that?
Yeah, you got to know the tone on that one, right? Yeah, my dad's literally lived in Michigan for 60 years almost, and it's like he left Alabama yesterday.
Once it's ingrained, it's like that, right? It's funny because my oldest Nash is cowboy, rides the horses and gets the cowboy boots and the hat and everything else, plays football. And I'm like, you're a true Southern, guy over there, but I got to get that Mexico City style too as well,
Oh man. So let me ask you this. So you've got Omni, you've got the real estate things happening. What's next for each one of those things? What's on the horizon for 2026 for you?
So with Omni, we're startups, so we had to grow as a startup, right? So we had to cut back and all that stuff. So basically, I'm bringing a lot of AI. There's an AI tool that I'm going to start promoting in Latin America. I just launched it on my team, and it's pretty cool. It's AI. It's got 18 AI products within one platform with some guys from Florida, help them out to grow down there. So what's happening a lot is a lot of people are saying, hey, Luis, you know what? I want to grow a product down in Latin America. So people are calling me to consult them or help them out to do it. So that's Omni MLS opening another door. The other day I talked to somebody by Curacao area and from Amsterdam, and they're looking for $10 million investors so they can build this hotel / condo hotel type of deal and everything. So it's kind of interesting. I'm getting a lot of different high end net worth opportunities out there where I can find investors or anything like that. So that's kind of like the next one. Also, someone approached me. We're working on something. I think it's going to happen. Is being an asset manager for a REIT in Mexico, US, and Dubai. So they reached out to me, and then we're negotiating some stuff. So that's that part. Alabama, just want to grow, strong team. Where there's I'm what do you call by myself right now. I'm my own brand. I either go with another brand or just keep it the way it is. I mean, I was thinking about it the other day. I got the project without a brand, without anyone, just me. So
Yeah.
it gives you a good idea of your name, right, and your experience. So Alabama, my goal is just to grow it, and of course, also help out the Hispanic market here a lot. The Alabama, the South has a lot of opportunity on it. On that part. Southern California, just keep up with my whole sphere of influence. I'm still here. I might be, people see me. It's like I moved to Alabama, but still, and that's what nice part about, your phone, your Zooms and all that stuff. You can have so many different ways to do business, so it's like, it's really, you can be in contact and everything. And, you've lived this years and you kind of live in them too, as well. Is I want to make money so I can enjoy my kids' sports and the high school life, which my dad didn't. My dad was very successful, but he was working so much, and I'm trying to balance that out. It's like, it's really get this. I got this commercial project right now. I got the property in Venice. Some stuff that could just give me some breathing room and everything else, so I can definitely enjoy those moments. I hate it when I miss a baseball game or a football game or any event for my kids or a cheering competition. So that's what I'm trying to balance out. And it can be done, but you just got to balance it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I just did a webinar yesterday, and we talked about this, of trying to avoid the guilt of when we're with the family, I should be working, and the guilt of when I'm working, I should be with the family. And this whole thing that drowns us out a little bit, because we just have this guilt of, well, I need to make more money to support my family, but I'm with the family and I can't do that.
And it's crazy because my wife and I had a big conversation yesterday about it. And it's like it's really. She goes, "Hey, when you're here, but you're not here because you're like,
Yeah.
but you're trying to make money, to. And the reality is, like, all of us got our butts kicked in 2025. I don't care what anyone's.
I don't care what anybody says.
Here's the deal. Here's your example. Anywhere sold to Compass.
Right.
If they got their butts kicked, I don't care what anyone says. I didn't. Oh yeah, we're doing good. We're not here now, man. It's like, what was it? A statistic I heard that most of your brokers lost 60% revenue. In last year on 2025, and I see it. It's like I see it. I've lived it. Actually, it's kind of crazy. So, but I think this next 2 years, the professionals are really, really gonna, what do you call it? Not take over, but lead the way. I think people like yourself, myself, people that we know around us. I was talking to Dave Romero. Dave Romero is a good buddy of mine. He's like a brother to me. And we always talk about business. What's going on? What's going on with EXP? What's going on with Compass? What's going on with this and all stuff? And we talk about it every 2 weeks. And we're just saying, hey, these are the times that in, was it 11 and 12, 2011 and 12, the people that stuck it are going to win. That's how I see it in the next couple of years, because people want solutions, right? It's not about, so, you were talking about the martini and all stuff, and I tell people, so what is it that you don't like about real estate? You know what? It's not that I don't like it, but the shows. I think those are the shows that ruined us. Industry. $1 million listing, people, yes, people watch it and go, so wait a minute, in an hour I can make $75,000? No, it's not like that, man. Not even close.
Not even close. And the thing that gets me about the shows is when they talk to the people that are buying the house and what they do for a living. I'm like, they can't afford this house.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you go, whoa, wait a minute. So I had one client, funny story. I had one client in Venice, and this is when the show started. He bought the house, and they asked him to do the video, the actual show, after he bought the house. And you go, act like you just whatever, you're looking at it and you put the out. He already closed the house. He goes, and actually, my client is like, he's in the entertainment industry in Mexico. He's very successful. And he's telling me, he goes, yeah, Luis, I was asked to be, I'm like, what? I go, so that's how it happened? He goes, yeah. So it's kind of funny, So
yeah. Then the other, there's the My Lottery Dream Home. Like there's a whole, the whole list of shows that in a half an hour, they shows 5 houses, they decide on one, they buy it, they move in. I'm like, this doesn't happen in a 40-minute show. Like, guys, just so we're clear on how this doesn't work.
But you know what? The consumer's engraved with that.
Yeah.
The consumer. So here's the deal. When the lawsuit happened with NAR, those shows, that mindset was in the consumer. Says, oh, yeah, you guys make too much money. I've seen it on the $1 million listing. Or, that and that's what literally, as an industry, and I say this, and I say it to people at NAR, CAR, and all stuff, and I tell them, every association and broker and everything, it's our fault. It's our fault because we're not fighting the media, not fighting what's the truth. The other day I saw an article in Moody's, Jimmy. It says 3% coming soon. Interest. Did I miss it? Is another COVID coming or World War III? Or what's going on? And that's how they start the line, right? So people just see that and later on, it will be possible if there's another pandemic, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? We're not doing that as an industry, as an association, something like that, pushing that rhetoric. Hey, 6.125% is average. It's good. We got so spoiled.
And we don't help our cause either. Because what the general consumer doesn't understand is when we talk about the volume that we've sold, right? If I say, I sold 50 million in volume, they think I made $50 million. You know what I mean? They don't understand that's not how that works.
It's kind of so it's funny because Brian Buffini, that's his story. Brian Buffini. So I remember when I started, and actually our old vice president, Sarah Jackson, hired him into the business. And she knew him, and he goes, yeah. So, and he says that story, he goes, oh, $1 million producer. Oh my God, she's making millions. No. She told, and it's funny. I'm starting to see that again.
Yeah.
People starting to put that, I just saw that here in Alabama. I'm $1 million producer. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's the rhetoric, how we control it. We have to control our message, and our message in reality, we're here to help people. And me doing the global part is, as Americans, and I say it, I'm an American citizen, a Mexican citizen. As an American, we're very, very lucky to have the system that we have, which is mortgages. A lot of countries don't have mortgages, and you can deduct the interest on your taxes.
Yeah.
It's opportunity that we take for granted. And I see it. Trust me, when I see Colombia, I'll give you a fact about Colombia. Most of the real estate businesses, rentals, 60%.
Really?
Instead of sales. Because they live in the rental world.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. And now that you say that too, it's like the mortgage idea, right? It's like credit cards too, though. I mean, it's just, here's money.
I have family in Mexico, and he goes, yeah, you Americans are always in debt, man. That's how you guys do it, and that's how we're doing this, credit card debt and everything like that. Mortgages in Mexico started probably 15 years ago. There was no mortgages, it's like Israeli and some other countries don't, and the other ones, Costa Rica, you either have to get financed by some fund in US or something like that. But it's just, it's interesting. And so when I come back to the US and I hear all the agents, where am I? Quiet. You have no idea how good you have it. You just got to use the tools. Right?
Right. And again, like, you think about how long before they had an MLS, what you guys are providing down there. I mean, like the agents here, that have been in the business for 2-3 years. I mean, we have AI, right? Like you can go to your Alexa and go, Alexa, show me the house at 123 Main Street, and it'll give you the whole download of what the house at 123 Main Street is now. So all the stuff, all the tools and tricks and stuff that we have at our disposal, where other places, I have a friend that was doing some business, real estate in Lebanon.
Yep.
And I said, well, what's Lebanon like? And he said, well, sometimes it's the guy who takes you to the house. That's your realtor. That's just, it's just.
That's in Latin America, Latin American contract. What do you call taxi drivers or Uber drivers? Hey man, I know so and so selling that house. You know what? If you want to buy it, that's your agent.
Yeah.
It's really so the asset of America. Which makes it going is real estate. It just right now, I think we're in our industry we're disbalanced, and we need to get that balance back with this, and that'll make a more powerful economy in the future.
Yeah. Well, and I think there is some balance coming back. I think I see 2026 kind of balancing back out a little bit, but I think we had to shed some realtors. I hate to say that, but but we had to go through this hard path of. And if you've gotten into the business in the last year, and you're still here, like congrats, like you got through some bad stuff.
So on my teams, so far I can tell you as much. I've had 89 people in my team. Okay, out of the 89. 13 are still in the business. About 5 of them have their own business and their own teams. But I remember the ones that started in 09 and 10, I told them you're starting at the best time. Well, everyone says it's the worst. I'm like, yeah, you don't know what's good. So once it's good, you're going to keep working. What happened during COVID, and I use it all the time, COVID agents. Oh, well, I can just put a sign and call my friend, and you want to buy it at 3%. Now you got to sell. And that's the biggest issue. A lot of these agents don't know how to sell, and it's the majority of them, they just don't know how to close. My frustration, I'll tell you, Venice, I had the property and I would get texts back. Hey, what did they think of it? You know what they would say? They loved it. They liked it. What's the next step? You write an offer. Ghost. Wouldn't hear from you. About 10 people. So.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, man. And what people don't understand is like, again, how hard some of this stuff is to do. And those of you that have gotten through it, congratulations, you got through it. But that doesn't mean it changes, right? And I think you're right. I think that the negotiation piece, I think, is the hardest for most agents. Of actually just getting through a negotiation, right? Like of actually just having a conversation with people. And because this is the problem. Everybody's afraid of losing the deal. They're like, oh, I'm just going to give them everything because if I lose this deal, I can't pay my house payment this month because it's the only one I have. It's the only closing I have. And I get that we've all lived in that at some point. We've all been there. So I get that part, that fear of, I don't know how to do this right now, or I'm just afraid of losing this. And that's back to your point when you brought up the pipeline before. If you have a pipeline of people that are going to buy eventually, they all start to hit at some point. And that's one of the biggest things we can do.
And one of the things that I tell my agents all the time, 2 things is, like I say, control the environment and control the agent. When I say control the environment, make sure you're on top of the lender. Make sure you're on top of the closing. You make sure you're on top of everything. Don't just put it, see you at the closing, right? It's like basically control the environment. That means controlling, hey, agent, what do you think? What's going on? If you control it, you'll close it. I'll be, it's like, it just, and that's something that a lot of brokers are not teaching their agents. Some of the deals I've done in the last 6 months over here in Alabama, I'm like, oh my gosh, I go, you need to be trained, buddy. It's like, but what's sad about it is puts us in liability on the other side, So.
Yeah, no, I literally had a deal a couple months ago that the agent, it was a listing, and she called me, and I literally had to explain to her how to do an escalation and how to do a guarantee, an appraisal guarantee, because she didn't know how to do it. She's like, well, how do I do that? And I literally had to explain to her how to do an appraisal guarantee. Then she wrote it up and sent it to me. And I'm like, should I do that? Can I do this right now?
That's the thing. Like you get like, oh my gosh, it's like, especially in California. California, it's like, geez, lawsuit city,
Yeah. I mean, here in Michigan, it's a 40-hour course. You take your test, you're done. You got a license.
Wow.
Yeah, It's 40 hours. That's it. and their state 40 hours in your state exam, and you're good.
Wow, that's pretty. That's one of the what do you call it? Easiest ones that I've heard.
Yeah. What's Alabama like?
Alabama is we got to do. It's every 2 years we have to renew, and it's about 60 hours on it. But there's constancy, constant. Like
yeah.
If you don't 2 hours in California, it's every 4 years you have to take your CE classes. But some of the CE classes have nothing to do with the contracts. Have nothing to do. Contracts are changing so much. It's like it's the old school. It's kind of like the old professor that tells you how the world should run, right? Because they got a PhD.
Yeah, right.
In the real world, and this is how it's done, right?
Well, that's the funny thing is, like, we have 6 hours of CE every year,
Yeah,
so we just have to have 18 by 3. So that's we renew every 3.
exactly.
We just have to have 18 credits, but you're to that point. So, well, man, this hour went super fast. I appreciate you jumping on with me.
Jimmy, appreciate your time. Seriously, I'm glad we did this. When you come down, we'll do some barbecue talk in Alabama. Coming down. I know you come down here. Let's get
Yes, sir. I may or may not be down there in a couple of weeks. We'll see.
Let me know. Let me know.
Where can everybody find Luis Mendoza?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it, my friend. I will talk to you all soon. Guys, take it easy. Find out Elite Real Estate Podcast wherever you find podcasts, and we will be back next week again live. Talk to you guys soon. See ya.
Be safe.